And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of God. For I determined not to know anything among you, save Jesus Christ and him crucified. 1 Corinthians 2, 1-2, King James Version.
What does it mean to know nothing but Jesus Christ and him crucified? I think that for me, what's interesting about, if you think about Christianity, it's the idea that God is not just reigning from on high, but that God enters into our story, is born like we are, is tempted like we are, and goes through the even to the depths of crucifixion, which is more than death. It's a stunning humiliation. In the ancient world, crucifixion was not just a way to kill somebody, but it was a way to send a message. It was not just about killing, but it was also about humiliating and shaming. And so the way he was with a crown of thorns, when you see pictures of the crucifixion, there's the loincloth that covers Jesus' private parts. That would not have been there. The people were crucified naked. We don't even portray that. I mean, even that level of humiliation is too much for us to present in our artwork about that. So that the level of extraordinary humiliation that was involved with that Jesus would have been, nearly to the point of death on the cross, and that instead of pouring out curses on the people who were crucifying him, he prayed for their forgiveness. Father, forgive them. He even told the person on the cross next to him, who was sort of sympathetic to him, that, this day you'll be with me. Even on the cross, even the crucifixion did not diminish his love, which to me is almost as much of a miracle as anything. So he's on the cross, his love is undiminished. And so it's almost in that moment, it's like all of human sin and evil and rebellion is laid upon him in that moment, and he receives it all in love. It would have been very different if he had been crucified and he'd been yelling and cursing, if he'd been on the cross saying, well, I'm going to come back. When I come back, you're going to wish you'd never seen me. I'll show you, I'll show you what it means to suffer after I come back. He doesn't do any of that. Then when he comes to his disciples, that had run away, he doesn't humiliate them, he doesn't shame them. And then, even when he appears to Paul, who is on the way to persecute his followers, he doesn't humiliate and shame Paul. And so I think for Paul, I can understand why Paul might have written something like that. It's not that, obviously the resurrection was important, to Paul. So it's not that the resurrection wasn't important, but it was almost like it's at the cross that the true depth and character of God's absolute love for us is revealed. Because at the moment when we were treating God the worst, that's right at that lowest point, that's when God gives us God's best. And I think that tells us about the character of God.